In a small village in Egypt lived two orphan boys, Set and Amenhotep. They always watched out for each other, well past their years of childhood and into their time as young adults. One day, the two were walking outside the village when they saw a crocodile trapped in a poacher's snare. The two young men, sympathetic to a creature in need, approached the crocodile and released it from the trap. Once freed, the crocodile transformed into a wispy, glowing fairy. "Thank you, young men," said the fairy. "Your hearts are truly selfless, and I will grant each of you one wish. What are your names?" "This is my friend Set, and you can call me Ep," said Amenhotep. "Very well, Ep," said the fairy. "What is the desire of your heart?" "I wish I was the strongest man in the world," Amenhotep wished. "Very well," said the fairy, "but you must always use your strength to help others." Smoke gathered around Amenhotep, and when the smoke cleared, Ep was 7 foot 6 inches and rippling with muscles. The fairy turned to Set. "And what is your wish, Set?" Set responded, "I never want to be poor again. I wish for money." "Very well," said the fairy. Smoke gathered in front of the two of them, and when the smoke cleared, a small elf remained, bowing to the two boys. "Greetings, sirs. My name is Elman, and I am here to serve." "Elman is an expert in all things money," said the fairy. "He will help you make wise decisions and turn any business profitable, but will only help you so long as he is only asked to do good for your fellow man." Amenhotep and Set were inseparable. True to his word, Amenhotep used his great strength to build many houses for people in need. Set helped as well, but his comparatively small size, next to the now massive Amenhotep, earned him the nickname Imp. With Elmon's financial savvy, the two started a non-profit dedicated to building houses for the less fortunate, and Elmon kept all their paperwork in perfect order. Years passed, and the two lived very fulfilling lives helping the homeless. Amenhotep met a girl while building houses, and the two got married and had a beautiful baby boy, Joseph. Ep and Set's business expanded globally. 15 years passed, and Amenhotep grew kinder and more generous, giving to people in need at any of the places he went to build houses. Set built a campus in Cairo for the headquarters of their business and directed global efforts. Over the years, Set lost touch with the people he was helping and became more focused on business expansion and money of the business. As all fathers do, Amenhotep wanted his son to eventually take over the business and help the next generation of needful people find purpose in their lives. He sent Joseph to the headquarters in Cairo to learn business from Set. Once there, Joseph was surprised to find that much of the financial success was due in large part to the financial savvy of Elmon, the elf. Joseph spent months at headquarters learning how to run the business. While there, Set decided that it was time to expand the company into a more profitable venture. Instead of building houses for the needy, he drafted up a plan to buy up land around urban areas and construct rental properties at expensive prices while preventing construction of new, affordable housing. He sent Joseph with the proposal to Elmon to determine the financial logistics. Upon reading the proposal and its ill nature's effect on Set's fellow man, Elmon keeled over and died instantly. Joseph was shocked and ran to alert Set right away, who wailed in dismay at the loss of his financial mastermind. In a rage, he accused Joseph of killing Elmon and sent the teenager to jail. Amenhotep, hearing of the distress, caught the first flight back to Cairo to find himself neck-deep in a legal battle between him and his old friend. Without the financial and legal savvy of Elmon, Set's case was a mess. Amenhotep, distraught, tried to reason with his childhood friend. "Come, Imp, release my boy and call off the lawsuit. Let's use our energy to help those in need, and not further what we both know is a fruitless path." Set refused, furiously gathering circumstantial evidence to bring to the court to frame Joseph for Elmon's murder. The case was brought before the court, but Set's claims were weak and unsupported. The judge, thoroughly disgusted with the lack of evidence from the prosecution, dismissed the case outright. Obviously, Ep's teen didn't kill Imp's elf. An old country preacher had a teenage son, and it was getting time the boy should give some thought to choosing a profession. Like many young men his age, the boy didn't really know what he wanted to do, and he didn't seem too concerned about it. One day, while the boy was away at school, his father decided to try an experiment. He went into the boy's room and placed on his study table 4 objects: a Bible, a silver dollar, a bottle of whiskey, a Playboy magazine. "I'll just hide behind the door," the old preacher said to himself. "When he comes home from school today, I'll see which object he picks up. If it's the Bible, he's going to be a preacher like me, and what a blessing that would be. If he picks up the dollar, he's going to be a businessman, and that would be okay too. But if he picks up the bottle, he's going to be a no-good drunken bum, and Lord, what a shame that would be. And worst of all, if he picks up that magazine, he's going to be a skirt-chasing womanizer." The old man waited anxiously and soon heard his son's footsteps as he entered the house, whistling and heading for his room. The boy tossed his books on the bed, and as he turned to leave the room, he spotted the objects on the table. With curiosity in his eye, he walked over to inspect them. Finally, he picked up the Bible and placed it under his arm. He picked up the silver dollar and dropped into his pocket. He uncorked the bottle and took a big drink while he admired the magazine's centerfold. "Lord have mercy," the old preacher disgustedly whispered. "He's going to run for Congress." There once was a man named Mr. Gay who went to the airport. Mr. Gay approached the ticket counter and asked if there were any seats left for a flight to Miami. This would be a last-minute flight, as his schedule had suddenly freed up, and he was now able to visit his elderly mother on her birthday. The lady at the counter smiled as she searched, but she had some bad news. There was one seat left on the only flight to Miami, but it was a low-priority seat, and he might be bumped if anyone else bought a ticket. Figuring that this was better than nothing, Mr. Gay purchased the ticket and went to the gate. A couple of hours later, Mr. Gay boarded the plane. What luck! He had not been bumped from the flight, and it looked like he was going to make it to Miami for his mother's birthday. He was seated on an aisle seat when he noticed that a gentleman in the row in front of him, sitting by the window, was sweating profusely and fidgeting in his seat. "Are you all right, sir?" Mr. Gay asked. The nervous man replied, "I have a terrible fear of flying, and I usually request an aisle seat, but because this airplane is so full, they sat me at the window, and now I'm scared out of my wits." "We can't have that," Mr. Gay said with a smile. "I will gladly switch seats with you so that you can have a more comfortable flight." With a relieved sigh, the nervous man thanked him and switched seats with him. A few more minutes went by as they waited for the plane to leave the terminal. The captain came on the PA system. "Ladies and gentlemen, our apologies, but it seems that we have oversold this flight, and our flight attendants will now be asking certain passengers to deplane at this time." Mr. Gay sank in his seat. He knew that they would be coming for him. Sure enough, the flight attendant came down the aisle but walked right past him. Mr. Gay had the sudden realization that they were heading for his prior seat. The flight attendant tapped the shoulder of the man that Mr. Gay had traded seats with. "Sir?" the flight attendant asked. "Are you gay?" The man in the seat seemed surprised, but then sheepishly nodded his head and said, Yes, I am, but I'm afraid you have to get off the plane, sir." Mr. Gay stood up. "Wait," he said, "you don't understand. I'm gay." A very feminine man, a couple of rows over, stood up and slung his head back. "Honey, I'm gay too, and they can't throw us all off this bitch." My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.